friends, here we are. Is Facebook gonna work? It's trying. I think it's working. Anyway, so I'm excited to talk about this today. We're talking about panic attack hack, or really, I'm going to share with you a process, a practice to greatly reduce, or even eliminate panic attacks, claustrophobia, um, and what's the other one? Motion sickness, or anything related to those. So, a friend of mine just a couple weeks ago we were talking about our Catalina retreat that we do once a year, coming up the end of September. Got 2 spots left if you're interested. They do fill up way in advance. With 20 people is our maximum. So, and she was talking about, God, I'd love to come, but I have motion sickness. So, it occurred to me, boy, I haven't talked about this on my Thought Shifting Thursdays, TST, as Naomi calls it. And I'd love to hear your feedback upon practicing this, if this is something that's helpful for you. And it can work for, even if you don't have tremendous panic attacks, but you just have anxiety at different times. This can work as well. So here's what I've noticed happens for people when people are having motion sickness or panic attack or whatever it might be, is once the physiological response happens, or response to whatever the stimulus is. So let's say, and sometimes panic attacks don't have any stimulus, they just come on and you may not even know what it is, but there's a physiological response. So as soon as you notice the physical response, what I see in people is there is then the reaction, a tensing up, a tightening, a wanting for it to go away. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know the thing that I say over and over is whatever we resist not only persists, but magnifies. Anything that we embrace becomes our ally, our teacher, and our healer. So as soon as I am having an uncomfortable experience and I tense up because I'm resisting it, guess what? It magnifies, it gets worse. That's where, a slight fear or discomfort can become an outright panic attack. That's when a queasiness in my stomach, if I'm on a boat, becomes motion sickness. That's when fear of flying is another one that we've had people be cured from using this practice. Um, and so claustrophobia, we do sweat lodges here, and it's completely and totally dark. And some people that have claustrophobia get in and they have a hard time with that. So this practice will also help them to stay in the lodge. And we've had people completely healed from claustrophobia in the sweat lodge going through this process. So I'll tell you how it works. So let's say, and I'm going to use motion sickness as an example. So one of the first times I applied this was with my wife because we were on our way to Catalina. It was the first time, I think it was the first time we did the retreat on Catalina back in 2000. I'm going to say 2002 or three. I've been doing these retreats, by the way, since the early 90s. Not always on Catalina, in different places on the continent. So so we're starting the journey, and I notice her starting to feel sick, and I could see her starting to go into panic. And once she did that, there was no saving her, right? Because she was already in it, and she actually turned purple and became very, very nauseous and ill. And so on the way back, we applied this practice. And so now, anytime we're going there over there for a treat, I find out ahead of time and actually have a little write-up for this. By the way, if you want to write up for it, just put it in the comments, and I'll send me your email, or can I post it? I guess I could just post it on Facebook too. Maybe I'll put that in the comments. So you have like a step-by-step process. So I'll send that out to everyone, right? And anyone who says that they're really concerned about motion sickness, then I'll go over this practice with them. I'll set them up ahead of time. And so here's how it works. So no matter what it is, claustrophobia, motion sickness, panic attack, as soon as you feel the physiological response, you then link that to what is the highest state of being that you aspire to be in. Whether it is pure love, whether it's inner peace, whether it's empowerment, whether it is connection with the divine, whether it is being close to God, whatever you consider your highest emotional, mental, spiritual state, that's what you want to focus on. And you tie the physiological response to that experience. So it becomes a reminder or a cue to go to your happy place, to go to that feeling. And so you can set this up, you can meditate, and we'll do a meditation at the end of this video. You can do a meditation to like visualize and set yourself up for doing this anytime that you have any kind of stimulus that's going to create any one of these uncomfortable experiences. And so what happens then is as you get good at this, at practicing this, then the important thing is that let's say it's motion sickness and my wife or someone else is starting to feel that physiological response and starting to feel uncomfortable. Instead of resisting, which then will magnify the experience, it's just that little switch, that reframe. Oh, this is a reminder to go to pure love, inner peace, connection with the divine, whatever it might be. And then what happens then is in training yourself to practice it this way, then to take it to an extreme, you could actually invite, you could actually say, bring on the discomfort, because it is now my ally, it's my teacher, it's my healer, because it's reminding me, it's helping me to go to this place. I'll tell you about how I applied this in a class I was teaching. Just popped into my head years and years ago. Was we were doing this very, let's see, I don't remember the exact exercise we were doing. It had something to do with embracing discomfort. Maybe not this exact practice. And she had a glass eye, and it was very uncomfortable for her. There was like a constant aggravation or irritation that she would feel all day long. And so we talked about applying this strategy and embracing it completely and using it as a cue, as a reminder to go to, I believe as it's coming back to me, her highest state was just to be one with divine, right? And so what she got when we talked about this and she started practicing is, wow, what an amazing ally, she didn't use that word, but amazing help this can be for me. Amazing reminder. Because it's constant. And so if I can connect this experience, this irritation, as a reminder to go to oneness with divine, then all day long, every time I'm aware of it, it will bring me to that place. What a wonderful reminder. What a wonderful cue. So it's as simple as that. That's how it works. And I haven't had anyone who has applied this that it hasn't helped to some degree. As people get better about it, it can absolutely, completely eliminate claustrophobia, motion sickness, fear of flying, any kind of phobia. And then, of course, panic as well. The panic attack hack. So let's take this into meditation now. So if you have any kind of experience that is uncomfortable, it doesn't have to be a full-on panic attack again. It could simply be, I'm afraid of spiders, right? I'm afraid of heights. I'm afraid to fly. I get motion sickness. I'm afraid of getting negative responses on my social media posts. Whatever it may be, just close your eyes and imagine yourself approaching that situation. And imagine the physiological response coming on, whatever it may be. And actually, before you even do that, just establish, if you haven't already, I'm sure you have, what is your highest state of being that you want to be in consistently. What's your ideal? And so imagine now you're feeling that physiological response, whatever it may be, tightening of the stomach, tightening of your shoulders, your muscles, um, nausea in your gut, and whatever it might be. A speeding of the heartbeat, very, very common, especially with panic attacks. So imagine yourself going through the beginning stages of this, and now connecting that to your ideal state. And you can even see it happening and feel it happening in different situations. And see that as you do this, you go into that ideal state. And now a couple things happen. One is, you take a deep breath. Your muscles relax. Your stomach relaxes. Wherever the tension is, it relaxes. And as soon as we relax, guess what happens? There's an inflow of love. There's an inflow of peace. There's an inflow of all spiritual qualities. And the other thing that happens now is that there's no longer a need to magnify the tension. There's no longer a need to even fear the thing that is triggering the uncomfortable response, because now you know that it's a good thing. It is helping me to go to this ideal state. And so you can apply this to any situation. But the beauty is, here's where the hack comes in, is from now on, there's nothing to fear. And this is a total game changer when we start, when we're no longer anticipating fear in different situations. And so take a nice deep breath into trusting and knowing that you are okay no matter what is happening in the external world. Let's just take a moment of silence to just really, really feel into this divine state, whatever it is your ideal. Again, pure love, pure peace, laughter, joy, playfulness. Take another deep breath into this experience. When you're ready, bring your awareness back. So, the simplest, I've said this many times before, that the best and most effective solutions are always the simplest. There's probably books, there's probably 300-page books on how to deal with panic attacks, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of helpful stuff in those books, but I always find that the simplest practice is the easiest. So play with this. Play with any practice that I offer you or anyone else offers with you. Try to take it as, to make it as non-serious as you possibly can. The coyote in Native American traditions, in mythology, is the trickster. Tricks us into seeing our truth by showing us our folly. And the biggest message from the trickster, the coyote, is if you're willing to laugh at yourself, then you are willing to open to a higher state of being. All right? And the coyote tricks us by playing tricks on us so that we can laugh at ourselves. And we keep getting tricks played on ourselves until we begin to not take it seriously and bring playfulness. I'll finish on this note. I've said these before, I think, in these videos. A friend of mine took the, hey Naomi, good to see you. Yes, everything is for me. I'm on my way to get a vaccine, yay. So a friend of mine put it this way. She did the Landmark Forum, which has evolved over the years. I was really happy to hear that this was a main emphasis, as they said that if you look at any area of your life where you're struggling, there's heaviness. And if you look at every area in your life where you are thriving, there's playfulness. If you bring playfulness into the areas where you're struggling, it cannot help become lighter and ultimately become thriving in those areas as well. So I love you guys, and we'll see you next week, Thursdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time, and Thought Shifting Thursdays. All right. Hope you have a great rest of your week and a fantastic weekend. Love you all. And live video.